Hello, we're gonna talk about Mérida, the city located in Yucatan, and we're gonna define if the city is sustainable. City description. Well, the climate in Mérida has a warm tropical savanna climate characterized by high temperatures through the year and pronounced rainy seasons from June to October. Water resources. The city relies almost entirely on underground aquifers, which supply water through well fields located around the metropolitan area. The solid waste management. Merida operates an intermunicipal solid waste management system to coordinate handling and disposal across the metropolitan region. The city has implemented programs for waste separation and composting. The air pollution sources. The air quality in Merida is generally moderated, with the main pollution sources being vehicle emissions, construction related dust, and small industrial activities. Mobility is dominated by private cars and bus systems, with population is estimated around 1.26 million inhabitants for 2025. Merida is partially sustainable. It excels in social and economic dimensions, but needs significant progress in environmental protection, energy transition, and sustainable mobility. With targeted policies and continued investment in green infrastructure, the city has the capacity to evolve into a more resilient, low carbon, and environmentally balanced urban areas. Thank you.
I will talk about the carbon dioxide equivalent emissions focused on electricity and gasoline use. First, we got the general formula, activity data times emission factor. Next, we got the data for electricity consumption, we got the households, and the energy used per household. We also have the emission factor for the electricity. Now, we insert this data into the formula, and we get a total of 300,000 tons of CO2 every year in the residential area. Now, for gasoline, we got the data for the vehicles, the liters used per year, and the total liters, the emission factor 2. We use them in the formula, and we get a total of 1.5 million tons of CO2 every year. So, Merida should focus on improving their mobility system, as it is the heaviest CO2 producer among both of them. Tourism has a big impact on this state and needs to be addressed, and it should be considered that renewable energy and means of transport are a solution to this problem.
I will be presenting if Merida is a sustainable city. In short-term answers, it's no. If we really pay attention to what happens in depth, we can find different causes. If we look at water vulnerability, the city depends almost entirely on purifiers. This is because a lot of water is actually brought from outside of the area because there is growth in the city and it has water holes. It is in risk of contamination because these water holes will eventually be eaten by the development of the city. This is an example of an extraction area and how poorly maintained it is. We can see a lot of filth and a lot of dirt in it, which is also another problem that happens with water vulnerability in a rapid growing city. Speaking of rapid growing, it's had a fast population growth of 1.26 million, and the urban sprawl has doubled in size in the last 30 years, thus creating pressure on the ecosystem surrounding the city. The example of the map is as clear as day of how much growth the city has had, and that's extremely good. But if you see the ecosystem around it, it's also in a very invasive way, thus damaging the biodiversity around. Vehicles cause a lot of the pollution, and this is because out of each of 1,000 residents, 581 own a vehicle. Public transportation is very inefficient and is very limited to only certain areas of the city. This is because it's rapidly growing and new routes haven't been made. Merida is not a sustainable city. It's a very rapid growing city, which is doing it in a very extreme way, which is very good for urban development. But doing it in such a fast way also means that there isn't a lot of measures that respect the growth in a very future-proof way. It's grown a lot in the last 20 years, but at the end of the day, when you create a city, you also want to plan for the next generations of this city. Growth is good, but also planning ahead is better.
We evaluated Merida using the traffic light model. Land use keeps expanding and energy efficiency is still low, with limited use of renewables. Transport also remains a challenge because the city depends heavily on private cars. There is progress in smart technologies and some student participation programs, but sustainable economic models are still early, and waste and water management remain weak, especially with groundwater contamination issues. In my opinion, Merida is only partially sustainable. The city has strong technological progress, but to truly move forward, it needs better public transport, more renewable energy adoption, and stronger waste and water system. These areas are essential for long-term environmental resilience.